Hello, my name is Esther Jim, and today I want to talk about Adam and Eve. So we know that Adam and Eve ate the fruit and got knowledge of good and evil, and we understand that if you can't take that in a literal context, as in they got all the knowledge of good and evil. It took progressively over time, and aligns with the real world. Adam and Eve, you replace them with the Homo habilis species, right? And they were the first humans that came around 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago. Then over time, you went from them, Homo habilis, to Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Neanderthals, and Denisovans. There's other humans in between, but I'm just gonna name a few for now, right? After all that, we still have to pay for the sins, right? And that right there is the biggest issue I have. Like, how are we still facing what they did all the times, all the long ago? We are the youngest human species out of all the human species. We are the youngest. We're the last to evolve, and now we're the only human species. And just us was saved. And that's my biggest issue because we're the only human species outside of the Homo habilis that evolved alone. I mean, no. That lives alone. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Homo habilis was alone first, and then over time, other human species started to evolve with them. And then they came as a collective. It makes sense right there for God to intervene right there and step in to show himself to every human species right there, or decide, you know what, go to the first human species. When they committed sin, I'm gonna save them, so the rest of humanity can also be saved and look after. Because guess what, Homo habilis, they had awareness, right? But they were nowhere near compared to the dumbest human dang there today, right? So they could not read, write, or talk even. So if God could have sent the Holy Spirit, had them write a cohesive sentence, just so we know that, dang, you know what? This right here is God, and this right here is the proof that would send a lot of people into that faith. But guess what? Only proof we have is through Homo sapiens, the youngest, the earliest. Outside of us, there is no hardcore evidence of any religion or spirituality existing, right? And so that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest issue I have. Like, why did you decide we were the people you want to show yourself to? We're the youngest. And then my thing is, it ain't just him. It's a whole bunch of religions, whole bunch of prophets, whole bunch of gods. They all show themselves to Homo sapiens. But like, why? Why did we get thrown at so much different stuff and it's told that, you know what, if you don't follow this religion, you're gonna burn for eternity. It's all this stuff where it's like, you know what, it makes you feel like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, all you had to do was show yourself right before us. And Neanderthals, they just went extinct 40,000 years ago. So mind you, it wasn't that long ago. Jesus came 2,000 years ago. They went extinct, 40,000 years ago. That's 38,000 years in between, approximately. You could have made a way for you to show yourself to Homo sapiens and them, and Denisovans, and Homo erectus. Mind you, 4 different human species at the same exact time. That's how it's like, when you put it in that aspect, you realize, well, one, humanity hasn't existed for that long. Like, we're all really kind of bunched up together. But two, why would you now show yourself to us just now the time and throw everything at us? All these different guys, like all these prophets, like it blows your mind to choose the right one. Because guess what? If I ask an Islamic person, a Jewish person, and a Christian person to prove why your religion is true, they all have their own empirical evidence. And then I ask them certain hardcore questions, they all gonna come to the same exact result. And then it's like you can't decide which one's the right religion. You can't decide which one's the right religion because of the fact that they all gonna say the same thing. Really, all gonna say the same thing because everybody believes that their religion is the truth, right? So then, my thing is, how do we know there's only one truth, right? That's my only issue when it comes to Adam and Eve's story, because, like I said, all the Abrahamic religions believe in Adam and Eve's story. Just which Adam and Eve story you believe in. But my thing is, like I said, when it comes to humanity, we are still faced with their sins. That's my biggest problem because evil is the problem of evil, and good and evil came through time. It wasn't just one place. The stuff that they thought good and evil back then is stuff that we can deem not good and inhumane now, right? So it's like I said, it changes over time. It might be 10,000 years from now where people look back at us and say we're evil because people supported abortion, but we look at it now as it's regular. Some people look at it now as regular human rights. That's the thing with evil. It changes drastically over time. Nothing is objective. Everything is subjective, right? When you look at an animal, you can't say that animal is evil because they killed another animal. That's on their own species. Guess what? That animal is doing what it's naturally supposed to do. Same thing with us, right? Same thing with us. You can't say certain things are objectively evil because of the fact that you understand that it's a natural human thing to do. It's just not natural anymore, but it was, right? And those people, you say they from the devil, they from God, but you understand the reason why they are the way they are is because they take traits after the human ancestors. But then my thing is though, like I said, when I say objective, I know some things are objective, but people be throwing the word objective everywhere. Things are not that objective. I promise you that. I promise you that. But sorry, going back on track. We look at Adam and Eve and whatnot, look at the dilemma of good and evil. You understand that today's times, people who are deemed unfit really for society, sociopaths and psychopaths and whatnot, basically people who don't have who are not up to today's standards, are all through evolution can explain kind of why. So then if you're God, you're all powerful, all knowing, why in the world would you create somebody like that knowing they gonna right to hell? They can't, that's my thing. Free will had no place for that, right? And I can explain why. Because to them, they can't sense no thing as good and evil. Only thing they can sense is what we say is good and evil. They know our emotions. They don't have none. They don't have nothing to base on themselves. They're based on others. Right? So when it comes to free will, it's kind of hard for them to have integrity. And two, God knows, not God thinks, God knows. So you can't change what God knows. But that's my thing. That's why I be trying to tell people come to free will, you can't change what God knows. So whatever you were gonna do, it's already been planned out. It's already known. It's already been planned out. You was made to do what you gonna do. Free will is only the fact that you are doing it. Not somebody else knows it's you that's doing it. But you're the one taking the action. But guess what? It is already made for you to do it. Your steps are already taking place for you. The future and the past and the present is all here now. But yeah, like I said, that's what I was talking about when it comes to Adam and Eve. To me, it's completely unjust and unfair. Sorry if I went on track a little bit. But yeah, it's a little unjust because of the fact that, like I said, those humans back then were Homo habilis. We were Homo sapiens. We were the last human species. We're the only human species now. And we are still paying for their sins. And just now, all these gods and prophets or something want to come and appear to us. It's like, it just, now we have to choose the right religion over for damnation forever, for eternity. It's like, bruh, I don't know. And then my thing is, right, it's a lot of stuff they don't believe in. You ask them, is reincarnation real? They say no. You ask them, word simulation, they might say no. Both of them is real. I'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, that's it for the video. Just want to talk about Adam and Eve and the situation around it. And yeah, but that's it for today. I'm out, y'all.